Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the SEC filings to tell you what's really going on behind the corporate curtain. And today we're looking at Coinbase, and let me tell you that's something cooking that's a bit more than just baking bread. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed to Corporate Decoder for regular insights into the companies you care about. And if you want to chat about these filings with other like-minded folks, our Discord community link is in the description below. Coinbase Global Inc. has filed a report that basically tells us they're getting ready to let a lot of people sell their company stock. They filed what's called a prospectus supplement. Think of this like an update to an earlier filing that allows them to register more shares for people to sell. This filing is pretty straightforward. It says that on August 15th, they added a document to their earlier filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This new document, the prospectus supplement, is all about registering about 11 million shares of their Class A common stock. So why is this happening? Well, it's to let specific people sell their shares. These are what the report calls selling stockholders, and they're doing this to meet registration rights. What that means in simpler terms is that these shareholders had a prior agreement with Coinbase that said they'd eventually be allowed to sell their stock and have it properly registered with the SEC. This filing is them keeping that promise. This agreement was signed back on May 8th of this year. They mentioned Centillia BV and various Centillia shareholders as being part of this deal. So essentially, Coinbase is making it official for these early investors or partners to sell their shares on the open market. They've also included an opinion from their lawyers, Fenwick and West LAP, confirming that the stock being registered is legally sound. This is pretty standard practice for any company looking to register a large block of shares for resale. The company is also filing the consent from those same lawyers, which is basically saying that it's okay for the lawyer's opinion to be used in this filing. Now, what does this mean for Coinbase and for us watching from the outside? Well, it means that a significant number of shares are about to become available for sale. This doesn't necessarily mean these shareholders will sell all their shares immediately, but it opens the door for them to do so. For investors, this could lead to increased supply of Coinbase stock, which might put some pressure on the stock price if demand doesn't keep up. Think about it like this. If you have a popular concert ticket, but suddenly thousands of extra tickets become available from people who originally bought them when they thought the price would go up, the price of those tickets might drop because there are just more of them out there wanting to be sold. However, this is a registration for shares that seem to be tied to a prior purchase agreement rather than a brand new stock offering where Coinbase itself is raising money. This is more about enabling existing shareholders to cash out or diversify their holdings. The important thing here is that the company is fulfilling contractual obligations and allowing these shares to be held and traded by the public. Coinbase is a publicly traded company on Nasdaq under the symbol SOIN, contractual obligations, and allowing these shares to be held and traded by the public. Coinbase is a publicly traded company on Nasdaq under the symbol FINE. The report doesn't go into the nitty-gritty financial details like revenue or profit in this particular filing. Instead, it's focused purely on the process of registering shares for resale. This specific form, an 8K, is usually for material events. In this case, the material event is the filing of the prospectus supplement itself and the associated legal opinions. So what's my take on this? On one hand, Coinbase is acting responsibly by ensuring all shares that need to be registered are properly registered. This transparency is good for the market. It also shows that they are a company that honors its agreements with shareholders. On the other hand, a large number of shares becoming available for sale can sometimes signal caution for existing investors if not enough new buyers step in. However, given that these shares are tied to a previous agreement, it's likely this move was anticipated by the market. The real story here is less about current financial performance as seen in this specific filing, and more about the mechanics of how their stock circulates and who holds it. That's our quick decoding of this Coinbase filing. What are your thoughts on this stock registration? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And don't forget to jump into our Discord community for more in-depth discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.